Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb, text 21 onwards. So Krishna has already come into the womb of Mother Devaki, and now everybody knows, even Kamsa knew, because Devaki was very effulgent and very jubilant. Now he is thinking what to do. किमद्य तस्मिन् करणीयमाशु मे यदर्थतन्त्रो न ह्यन्ति विक्रमं स्त्रिया स्वसुरगुरुमत्यबधो अयं यशः श्रियं हन्ति anukalam ayuhu. Kansa thought, what's my duty now? The Supreme Lord, who knows his purpose, Paritrana Sadhunam, will not give up his prowess. Devaki is a woman. She is my sister. Moreover, she is now pregnant. If I kill her, my reputation, opulence, and duration of life will certainly be vanquished. So at least he knows the scriptures. Nowadays, people are doing so much of abortions, and they don't care for any of this. My reputation will be gone. Where there are laws to protect them, opulence and duration of life, they say, who has seen that? Who cares? Because no knowledge of scriptures. But Kansa is at least thinking about that. According to Vedic principles, a woman, a Brahman, an old man, a child, and a cow should never be killed. It appears that Kansa, although a great enemy of the Supreme Personality of God, was aware of the Vedic culture and conscious of the fact that the soul transmigrates from one body to another, and that one suffers in the next life according to the karmas of this life. Therefore, he was afraid of killing Devaki. Since she was a woman, she was his sister, and she was pregnant. A Kshatriya becomes famous for performing heroic acts. But what would be heroic about killing a woman who, while confined in his custody, was under his shelter? Therefore, he did not want to act drastically by killing Devaki. Kansa's enemy was within Devaki's womb, but killing an enemy in such a nascent state would not be an exhibition of prowess. According to Kshatriya rules, an enemy should be fought face to face with proper weapons. Then if the enemy is killed, the victor becomes famous. Kansa very consciously deliberated upon these facts and therefore refrained from killing Devaki, although he was completely confident that his enemy had already appeared within her womb. But he is still not ready to kill Devaki. Sa esha jivan khalu sampareto vartet yo ati antre nrishansitena dehe mrite tam manujah shapanti ganta tamo andham tanu manino dhruvam. A person who's very cruel is regarded as dead even while living. While he is living or after his death, everyone condemns him. And after the death of a person in the bodily concept of life, he is undoubtedly transferred to the hell known as Andhatama or Andhatamisra. Kansa considered that if he killed his sister while living, he would be condemned by everyone. And after that, he would go to the darkest region of hellish life because of his cruelty. It is said that the cruel person, like a butcher, is advised not to live, not to die. While living, a cruel person creates a hellish condition for his next birth, and therefore he should not live. But he is also advised not to die because after death he must go to the darkest region of hell. Thus, in either circumstance, he is condemned. Kansa, therefore, having good sense about the science of the soul's transmigration, deliberately refrained from killing Devaki. So, for a cruel person, when he is living, people will condemn him. But nowadays, this is not the philosophy. More cruel you are, more people are there to support you and to glorify you, even if in general public are condemning you, but that would be in their homes. Outside, nobody dares to condemn a cruel person, and they don't care what's going to happen after death. Who has seen after death? So that's why so many slaughterhouses are there all over the world. It's not just in India or in America or in Europe, all over the world. And so many animals get butchered every day, mercilessly. And people are very fond of eating that meat, and they think they are very healthy and they are doing such a nice thing. And so that kind of food, when goes into our stomach, what kind of consciousness we are going to have? What kind of consciousness that animal is going to have when he dies, and what kind of consciousness the butcher is going to have when he kills that animal, and somebody who buys that meat, and somebody who cooks, who serves that meat, everybody is condemned. But the problem is, nobody cares. They say, oh, this is my right. I can choose whatever I want. At least Kansa, although he was a demon, big demon, he's still thinking like that. In this verse, the words Ganto, Tamo, Andham are very important and require extensive understanding. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Vaishnava Toshani Tika says, one who lives in the bodily concept, thinking I am this body, involves himself by the very nature of this conception in a life of sinful activities. Anyone living in such a conception is to be considered a candidate for hell. Even just living in the body concept and not making progress spiritually. One who is in a bodily concept of life has no control over sense gratification. So one can do anything sinful to eat, drink, be merry, and enjoy a life of sense gratification, not knowing of the soul's transmigration from one body to another. Such a person does whatever he likes, whatever he imagines, and whatever, therefore, being subject to the laws of nature, he suffers miserably again and again in different material bodies. In the bodily concept of life, a person is karmanubandha, or conditioned by karma. And as long as the mind is absorbed in karma, one must accept a material body. Sharira bandha, bondage to the material body, is a source of misery. And this is what is keeping us here in the material world, and we are suffering. Basically, we are suffering because we are attached to this material body. Although the body is temporary, it always gives one trouble in many ways. But human civilization is now unfortunately based on tanumani, the bodily concept of life, by which one thinks, I belong to this nation, I belong to this group, I belong to that group, and so on. Each of us has his own ideas, and we are becoming increasingly involved, individually, socially, communally, and nationally, in the complexities of karma anubandha, sinful activities. For the maintenance of the body, men are killing so many other bodies and becoming implicated in karma anubandha. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami says that tanumani, those in the bodily concept of life, are papi, or sinful persons. For such sinful persons, the ultimate destination is the darkest region of hellish life, Ganta Tamo Andham. In particular, a person who wants to maintain his body by killing animals is most sinful and cannot understand the values of spiritual life. And for them, Krishna says, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. A human being is meant to understand the value of human life, which is a boon obtained after many, many births. Therefore, one must free oneself from Tanumani, the bodily concept of life, and realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Kansa was not here to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's still thinking, I better not be that cruel that I kill my sister when she is pregnant. At least he's thinking that way. Iti ghora tamad bhavat sanivratah swayam prabhu aste pratikshans tad janma harer vairanu krit. Shukdev Goswami said, deliberating in this way, Kansa, although determined to continue in enmity towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, refrained from the vicious killing of his sister. He decided to wait until the Lord was born and then do what was needed. Asina samvishastishtan bhunjana paritan mahim chintayano rishikesham apashyat tanmayam jagat. While sitting on his throne or in his sitting room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated anywhere, and while eating, sleeping, or walking, Kansa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord, Rishikesha. In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kansa became unfavorably Krishna conscious. Of course, we have to become favorably Krishna conscious, but at least he was unfavorable. Everywhere he was seeing only Krishna. Do we see Krishna everywhere? No. And he was only seeing Krishna because he was in so much of fear of Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami has described the finest pattern of devotional service as Anukulena Krishna Anushilana, or cultivating Krishna consciousness favorably. Kansa, of course, was also Krishna conscious, but because he regarded Krishna as his enemy, even though he was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, his Krishna consciousness was not favorable for his existence. Krishna consciousness, favorably cultivated, makes one completely happy, so much so that a Krishna conscious person does not consider Kaivalya Sukham, or merging into the existence of Krishna, to be a great gain. Kaivalyam Narakayate. As Prabodhanand Maharaj has said, Kaivalyam Narakayate. For a Krishna conscious person, even merging into the existence of Krishna or Brahman, as impersonalists aspire to do, is uncomfortable. Kaivalyam Narakayate Tridashapur Akasha Pushpayate. Karmis hanker to be promoted to the heavenly planets, but a Krishna conscious person considers such promotion a will o' the wisp, good for nothing. So they don't care for all this. Yogis try to control their senses and thus become happy, but a Krishna conscious person neglects the methods of yoga. He is unconcerned with the greatest of enemies, the senses, which are compared to snakes. For a Krishna conscious person who is cultivating Krishna consciousness favorably, the happiness conceived by the karmis, jnanis, and yogis is treated as less than a fig. It's for him, it doesn't even matter. Kansa, however, because of cultivating Krishna consciousness in a different way, that is, inimically, was uncomfortable in all the affairs of his life. Whether sitting, sleeping, walking, or eating, he was always in danger. This is a difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. A non-devotee or atheist who cultivates God consciousness by trying to avoid God in everything. For example, so-called scientists who want to create life by a combination of chemicals regard the external material elements as supreme. Such scientists do not like the idea that life is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, as clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita. The living entities do not arise from a combination of material elements such as earth, water, air, and fire, but are separated portions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one can understand the position of the living entity as a separated portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by studying the nature of the living entity, one can understand the nature of the Supreme Godhead. Since the living entity is a fragmental sample of the Godhead, but because atheists are not interested in God consciousness, they try to be happy by cultivating Krishna consciousness in various unfavorable ways. So the atheists think there is no God, everything what is there is nature. So it's not favorable way of cultivating God consciousness. And Kansa was obviously in a different state. He was afraid of Krishna. Although Kansa was always absorbed in thoughts of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was not happy. A devotee, however, whether sitting on a throne or beneath a tree, is always happy. Srila Rupa Goswami resigned from office as a government minister to sit beneath a tree. Yet he was happy. He was always happy. He did not care for his comfortable position as minister. He was happy even beneath a tree in Vrindavan, favorably serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. For a non-devotee, the world is full of problems, whereas for a devotee, the entire world is full of happiness. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Vidhi Mahendraadishcha Kitayate. This comfortable position of devotee can be established by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even when a devotee is superficially put into great difficulty, he is never disturbed. And this is what Mahaprabhu also said in his Shikshashtakam. Anand Ambudhi Vardhanam. So by engaging in Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, one develops Anand. And what kind of Anand? Ocean of happiness, and which is always increasing. So a devotee is always happy, no matter where he is. But a non-devotee is always distressed, always. So that's why devotees from Mumbai say that Mayadas Sadavdas and Krishnadas Bindas. Brahma Bhavashchatratya Munibhir Naradaditi Deva Sanuchara Sakam Girbhir Vrishnu Madhyam. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narad, Deval, and Vyas, and by other demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, invisibly approached the room of Devaki, where they all joined in offering their respectful obeisances and prayers to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bestow blessings upon everyone. Now all the demigods came to offer their prayers. So sometimes when people say, I'm God, you're God, we all are gods. But like Prabhupada said, so how many demigods came to pray when you were in the womb of your mother? No demigod came. But when Krishna was in the womb of his mother, Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, Narad, Deval, Vyas, everybody was there to pray to the Lord. So he is Lord. Even in the womb, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is performing his pastimes, whatever way he wants. But the demigods knew his position. And they know our position also. We are just lump of flesh. Of course, we have life and all the organs are there. And inside the womb of our mother and all the insects are biting us and we are crying and we want to get out but can't get out. That is our position. And we are crying, oh Krishna, please take me out and I'll pray, I'll be nice boy or girl. But as soon as we come out, we forget. But here, Krishna is there in the womb of Devaki and all the demigods appear to pray. There are two classes of men, the Devas and the Asuras, and there is a great difference between them. Kansa, being an Asura, was always planning how to kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his mother, Devaki. Thus, he was also Krishna conscious, but devotees are Krishna conscious favorably. Brahma is so powerful that he is in charge of creating an entire universe. Yet he personally came to receive the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhau, Lord Shiva, is always jubilant in chanting the holy name of the Lord. What to speak of Narad? Narad Muni Bajai Veena. Narad Muni is always chanting the glories of the Lord, and his engagement is to travel all over the universe and find a devotee or make someone a devotee. That's what he does all over. Even a hunter was made a devotee by the grace of Narad. Srila Sanatana Goswami in his Toshani says that the word Narad Adivi means that Narad and the demigods are accompanied by other saintly persons like Sanak and Sanatan, all of whom came to congratulate or welcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though Kansa was planning to kill Devaki, he too awaited the arrival of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the power of the Supreme Lord. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye Satyasya Satyamrit Satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvama Sharanam Prapanna. The demigods prayed, "O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect, because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You're the active principle, the real truth in all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone, for all time. You're the beginning of all truth, and therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection." And here is a baby in the womb, but they know he's a Supreme Lord, and they are asking for protection. And the baby in the womb, Kansa wants to kill him. See? But the demigods are asking, you please provide us protection. And he is the supreme truth. So many times this word Satya came in this shloka. The demigods, it's a long purport. The demigods or devotees know perfectly well that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a true substance, whether within this material world or in the spiritual world. Srimad Bhagavatam begins therefore with the words Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya and Satyam Param Dhimahi. Vasudev Krishna is the Param Satyam, the Supreme Truth. The Supreme Truth can be approached or understood by the Supreme Method as declared by the Supreme Truth. Bhaktya Mama Vijanati. Bhakti devotion service is the only way to understand the absolute truth. For protection, therefore, the demigods surrender to the Supreme Truth, not to the relative truth. So many times this word Satya came in this verse because they know who the Supreme Lord is. He's the Supreme Truth. He's the absolute truth. Everything is in him. There are persons who worship various demigods, but the Supreme Truth, Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, Antvattu phalam tesham tadavati bhavati alpamedhasam. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and the fruits are limited and temporary. Worship of demigods may be useful for a limited time, but the result is antvat, perishable. This material world is impermanent. The demigods are impermanent, and the benedictions derived from the demigods are also impermanent, whereas the living entity is eternal. Every living entity, therefore, must search for eternal happiness, not temporary happiness. The word Satyam Param Dhimahi indicates that one should search for the absolute truth, not the relative truth. And that absolute truth is Krishna. So I'll skip some paragraphs. You please go over those paragraphs. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narad and followed by many other demigods, had now invisibly appeared in the house of Kansa, or in the in the prison house of Kansa. They began to pray for the Supreme Personality of Godhead in select prayers which are very pleasing to the devotees and which award fulfillment of devotional desires. The first words they spoke acclaimed that the Lord is true to his vow. So his vow is paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam. So basically they are there to remind him, please, you have to kill all these demons. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna descends upon this material world just to protect the pious and destroy the impious. This is his vow. The demigods could understand that the Lord had taken his residence within the womb of Devaki to fulfill this vow. They were very glad that the Lord was appearing to fulfill his mission. And they addressed him as Satyam Param, or the Supreme Absolute Truth. And they also knew that the Lord is appearing and he will definitely take care of his vows, his words. Everyone is searching after the truth. That is a philosophical way of life. The demigods give information that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Krishna. One who becomes fully Krishna conscious can attain the Absolute Truth. Krishna is the Absolute Truth. And further, Prabhupada gives more description about the Absolute Truth. Devotees, therefore, following in the footsteps of Lord Brahma, pray Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Worshipping the Adi Purush, the Supreme Truth Govinda. Everything, everywhere is performed in terms of three principles: Jnana, Bal, Kriya. Knowledge, strength, and activity. In every field, if there is not full knowledge, full strength, and full activity, an endeavor is never successful. Therefore, if one wants success in everything, one must be backed by these three principles. But the Supreme Lord has nothing to do personally, for he has such potencies that anything he wants done will be done perfectly well through the control of material nature. Similarly, those who are engaged in the service of the Lord are not meant to struggle for existence. The devotees who are fully engaged in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement, more than 10,000 men and women all over the world, have no steady or permanent occupation, yet we actually see that they are maintained very opulently. So Prabhupada is talking about ISKCON at that time. And now there are so many more devotees. And Krishna is taking care of everybody. So those who surrender unto him, those who worship him, devote their lives to him, Krishna will take care of them. And because he is a supreme truth and he doesn't, and when he says, Nam bhakta pranashati, we just have to have full faith. The demigods must offer worship in obedience to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But one might argue that since the Supreme Godhead was within the womb of Devaki, he was also coming in a material body. Why then should he be worshipped? Why should one make a distinction between an ordinary living entity and Supreme Personality of Godhead? These questions are answered in the following verses. So that we'll take up tomorrow. See, anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, what is the meaning of this Tamam Bonam? This chapter.
Tamam Bonam, the topmost.
The topmost. And I think this canto is in Tamam.
Yeah, its name is Tamam Bonam.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all very much. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.